Hi everybody, it's me and Maya, also known as Yaya, and I'm continuing with chapter 26 in Exodus, and of course, once again I'm reading through from the Amplified version, and this is my son Noah. Let me move this out the way. Okay, Noah, are you gonna be quiet while I do this, or do you have to go out front? You gonna be quiet? Okay, thank you. Okay. So chapter 26 of Exodus. Moreover, you shall make the tabernacle, sacred tent of worship, with 10 interior curtains of fine twisted linen, and blue, purple, and scarlet fabric. You shall make them with embroidered cherubim, the handiwork of a skillful craftsman. The length of each curtain shall be 28 cubits, and the width of each curtain 4 cubits. All of the curtains shall measure the same. The 5 curtains shall be joined to one another, and the other 5 curtains shall be joined to one another. You shall make loops of blue on the outer edge of the last curtain. No, leave it. In the first set, and likewise the second set. You shall make 50 loops on the one curtain, and 50 loops on the edge of the last curtain. That is in the second set. The loops on one curtain correspond to the loops on the other. You shall make 50 gold hooks and fasten the curtains together with the hooks, and the tabernacle shall be one unit. Curtains of goat's hair. Then you shall make exterior curtains of goat's hair as a tent over the tabernacle. You shall make 11 curtains in all. Each curtain shall be 30 cubits long and 4 cubits wide. Yeah. Okay. Where was I?
I have to do this.
Okay, the 11 curtains shall all measure the same. You shall join 5 curtains by themselves and the other 6 curtains by themselves. And you shall double over the 6th curtain of the front of the tent to make a closed curtain. No, let me see what I'm doing. No. You shall double over the 6th curtain on the front of the tent to make a closed door. Make 50 loops on the edge of the outermost curtain in the first set, and 50 loops on the edge of the outermost curtain on the second set. You shall make 50 bronze hooks and put the hooks in the loops, and join the tent together so that it may be one unit. The overlapping part that is left over from the tent curtains, the half curtain that is left over, shall lap over the back of the tabernacle. The curtain on one side and the cubit on the other of what is left over in the length of the curtains of the tent shall lap over the sides of the tabernacle on one side and on the other side to cover it.
Why you want me to
Okay. Okay, go. Let me finish. Go watch your show. Boy, hey, go. Go watch your show. Okay, thank you, honey. Noah, get off of it. You see, I have this thing set up here. Go over there and watch your show. Okay. You shall make a 3rd covering for the tent of ram skins, dyed red, and a 4th covering above that of porpoise skins, board and sockets. Then you shall make the boards for the tabernacle of acacia wood, standing upright as a trellis-like frame. The length of each board shall be 10 cubits, and the width of each board shall be 1.5 cubits. I'm sorry, this boy has this thing crooked. 1 second. Okay, I'm back. Okay, board and sockets. Then you shall make the boards of the tabernacle of acacia wood, standing upright as a trellis-like frame. The length of each board shall be 10 cubits, and the width of each board will be 1.5 cubits. Make 2 dovetails in each board for fitting them together. You shall do the same for all the tabernacle boards. You shall make the boards for the tabernacle in the following quantities: 20 boards for the south side. You shall make 40 silver sockets under the 20 boards, 2 sockets under each board for its 2 dovetails, and 2 sockets under another board for its 2 dovetails. For the north side of the tabernacle there shall be 20 boards, and there 40 silver sockets, 2 sockets under each board. For the back of the west side of the tabernacle you shall make 6 boards. Make 2 boards for the corners of the tabernacle at the rear on both sides. They shall be joined together underneath and joined together on top with 1 ring. So shall it be for both of them. They shall form the 2 rear corners. There shall be 8 boards and 16 silver sockets, 2 sockets under each board. Then you shall make 15 boards of acacia wood, 5 for the boards of one side of the tabernacle, and 5 bars for the boards of the other side of the tabernacle, and 5 boards for the boards of the rear end of the tabernacle, for the back wall toward the west. And the middle bar and the center of the board shall pass through horizontally from end to end. You shall overlay the boards with gold and make their rings of gold to hold the bars. You shall overlay the bars with gold. You shall erect the tabernacle according to its plan, the direction corresponding to its meaning and purpose, which has been shown to you on the mountain. The veil and screen. You shall make a veil to divide the 2 rooms of blue, purple, and scarlet fabric and fine twisted linen, skillfully worked with cherubim on it. You shall hang it on 4 pillars, support poles of acacia wood overlaid with gold hooks on 4 silver sockets. You shall hang the veil from the hooks that connect the curtains together, and you shall bring the ark of the testimony there within the veil. The veil shall separate for you the holy place and the holy of holies. You shall put the mercy seat on the ark of the testimony in the holy of holies. You shall set the table for the bread outside the veil in the holy place on the north side, and the lampstand out opposite the table on the south side of the tabernacle. You shall make a screen to provide a covering for the doorway of the tent of blue, purple, and scarlet fabric, and finely woven embroidered linen, the work of an embroiderer. You shall make 5 pillars support poles of acacia wood to support the hanging curtain, and overlay them with gold. Their hooks shall be of gold, and you shall cast 5 base sockets of bronze for them. Okay, chapter 27. The bronze altar. And you shall make the altar for burnt offerings of acacia wood, 5 cubits long and 5 cubits wide. The altar shall be square, and its height shall be 3 cubits. Make horn-shaped projections for it on its 4 corners. The horns shall be of one piece with it, and you shall overlay it with bronze. You shall make pots to remove its ashes, and shovels, basins to catch the blood of the sacrificed animal, meat forks, and fire pans to store live coals. You shall make all its utensils of bronze. Also make a grate for it, a network of bronze, and on the grid you are to make 4 bronze rings at its 4 corners, and you shall put it under the ledge of the altar. So the grid will extend halfway up the altar. You shall make carrying poles for the altar, poles of acacia wood overlaid with bronze. The poles shall be inserted through the rings on the 2 sides of the altar so that it may be carried. You are to make the altar hollow with planks, as you were shown on the mountain of Sinai. So shall it be made. Court of the tabernacle. You shall make the court of the tabernacle. The south side of the court is to have curtains of fine twisted linen, 100 cubits long for one side. It shall have 20 pillars and 20 bronze sockets, but the hooks of the pillars and their fasteners shall be silver. Likewise, for the north side there shall be curtains 100 cubits long and its 20 pillars and 20 bronze sockets. But the hooks of the pillars and their fasteners shall be silver. For the width of the court, on the west side there shall be curtains of 50 cubits, with 10 pillars, support poles, and 10 sockets. The width of the court to the front on the east side shall be 50 cubits. The curtains for one side of the gate shall be 15 cubits, with 3 pillars and 3 sockets. On the other side of the gate, the curtain shall be 15 cubits with 3 pillars and 3 sockets. For the gate of the court there shall be a screen to provide a covering of 20 cubits of blue, purple, and scarlet fabric, and finely woven embroidered linen, the work of an embroiderer, and 4 pillars and 4 base sockets. All the pillars or support poles around the court shall be joined together with silver rods. Their hooks shall be of silver, and their sockets of bronze. The length of the court shall be 100 cubits, and the width 50 cubits throughout, and the height 5 cubits of fine twisted linen, and their sockets of bronze. All the tabernacle's utensils and instruments used in all its service, and all its stakes, and all the stakes for the court shall be of bronze. You shall command the Israelites to provide you with clear oil of beaten olives for the light, to make a lamp burn continually every night, in the tent of meeting of God with his people, outside the veil which is in front of the ark of the testimony, and sets it apart. Aaron the high priest and his sons shall keep the lamp burning from evening to morning before the Lord. It shall be a perpetual statute to be observed throughout their generations on the behalf of all Israelites. So that's pretty cool. I mean, you see that God, amongst other things, he's an interior designer too, which is not surprising because God created, the mountains and the sky and the ocean and the grass, and, God created so many things, and it's just is absolutely beautiful. So no surprise that God can create a place of worship and just make it just so beautiful and awe-inspiring. Okay. And the way that God is designing this, like they're out in the desert, in the wilderness, and he still wants a place of worship, a place, I guess, for him to reside in a sense, And so the way it's made is got all these curtains and all these, poles and sockets for the poles to go in, and all this stuff, so that I guess it could be broken down and put back up together, as they move through the desert. So that's pretty cool stuff. Okay, so Exodus 28, garments of the priests. Now bring your brother Aaron near, and his sons with him, from among the sons of Israel, so that he may serve as a priest to me. Aaron, Nadab, and Abihu, Eleazar, and Ithamar, Aaron's sons. You are to make sacred garments, official clothing, reserved for holy places. For Aaron, your brother, for honor and for beauty, ornamentation, to tell all the skilled and talented people whom I have endowed with the spirit of wisdom, that they are to make Aaron's garments to sanctify him and set him apart to serve as a priest for me. These are the garments which they shall make: a breastpiece and an ephod for the breastpiece, and a robe and a tunic of checkered work, a turban and a sash. They shall make sacred garments for Aaron your brother and his sons, so that he may serve as a priest to me. They are to use the gold and blue and the purple and the scarlet fabric and fine twisted linen from the people. Okay, so I think I made a slight mistake up here, and I wanted to be clear when I was reading. It says, now bring your brother Aaron near, and his sons with him from among the sons of Israel, so that he may serve as priest to me. Aaron, Nadab, and Abihu, Eleazar, and Ithamar, Aaron's sons. So, okay. Maybe that was clear to you anyway. I don't know. Okay. Let's see. And they shall make the ephod of gold and blue, purple, and scarlet fabric, and fine twisted linen, skillfully woven and beautifully worked. It is to have 2 shoulder pieces joined to its 2 back and front ends, so that it may be joined together. And the skillfully woven sash which is on the ephod shall be made of the same material of gold, gold, blue, purple, and scarlet fabric, and fine twisted linen. Um, okay, and let me correct how I read that. Because, how you read it is important, because it's got parentheses and it's got commas. Um, it is to have two shoulder pieces joined to its two ends, and it's in the parentheses it says back and front. Okay. Blah, blah, blah. Okay. You shall take two onyx stones and engrave on them the names of the 12 sons of Israel, 6 of their names on one stone, and the remaining 6 names on the other stone, arranged in the order of their births, with the work of a jeweler, like the engravings of a signet. You shall engrave the 2 stones according to the names of the sons of Israel. You shall have them set in filigree settings of gold. You shall put the 2 stones on the 2 shoulder pieces of the ephod of the high priest as memorial stones of Israel, and Aaron shall bear their names on his 2 shoulders as a memorial before the Lord. You shall make filigree settings of gold, and you are to make 2 chains of pure gold like twisted cords, and fasten the corded chains to the settings. You are to make a breastpiece of judgment, the work of a skilled and talented craftsman. Like the work of the ephod, you shall make it of gold, of purple, of gold, of blue, purple, and scarlet fabric, and of fine twisted linen. The breastpiece shall be square and folded double, a span about 9 inches in length and a span in width. You shall mount on it 4 rows of stones. The first row shall be a row of ruby, topaz, and emerald. The second row of turquoise, sapphire, and a diamond. The third row of jacinth, and agate, and an amethyst. And the fourth row of beryl, and an onyx, and a jasper. They shall be set in gold filigree. The engraved stones shall be 12, according to the names of the 12 tribes of the 12 tribes of the sons of Israel. They shall be like the engravings of a signet, each with his name for the 12 tribes. You shall make for the breastpiece chains of pure gold twisted like cords. You shall make on the breastpiece 2 rings of gold, and shall put the 2 rings on the 2 ends of the breastpiece. You shall put the 2 twisted cords of gold in the 2 rings which are on the end of the breastpiece. The other 2 ends of the 2 cords you shall fasten in the 2 filigree settings in front, putting them on the shoulder pieces of the ephod. You shall make 2 rings and put them at the 2 ends of the breastpiece on its inside edge next to the ephod. You are to make 2 gold rings and attach them to the lower part of the 2 shoulder pieces of the ephod in front, close to the place where it is joined, above the skillfully woven sash of the ephod. They shall bind the breastpiece by its rings to the rings of the ephod with a blue cord, so that it will be above the skillfully woven sash of the ephod, so that the breastpiece will not come loose from the ephod. So Aaron shall carry the names of the sons of Israel, Jacob, in the breastpiece of judgment over his heart when he enters the holy place, to bring them in continual remembrance before the Lord. In the breastpiece of judgment you shall put the Urim, or lights, and the Thummim, or perfections, to be used for determining God's will in a matter. They shall be over Aaron's heart whenever he goes before the Lord, and Aaron shall always carry the judgment, or verdict, judicial decisions of the sons of Israel over his heart before the Lord. So this is interesting, because I've read this before in the Bible, where it's like they're like casting stones or something. I guess they're doing something, I guess throwing stones on the table and seeing how they land. I don't know how it works exactly, to determine God's will. So that's, I've heard that before. So it says they shall blah blah blah. Okay. Okay. In the breastpiece of judgment you shall put the Urim, or lights, and the Thummim, or perfections. I'm not sure what that is, to be used for determining God's will in a matter. Okay. Okay. And you shall make the robe of the ephod olive blue. There shall be an opening in its top in the center for the head, with a binding of woven work around the opening like the opening in a coat of armor, so that it will not tear or fray. You shall make pomegranates of blue, purple, and scarlet fabric all around its hem, with gold bells between them. A golden bell and a pomegranate, a golden bell and a pomegranate, all around the bottom hem of the robe. Aaron shall wear the robe when he ministers, and its sound shall be heard when he goes alone in the holy place before the Lord, and when he comes out, so that he will not die there. You shall also make a plate of pure gold and engrave it and engrave on it like the engravings of the signet, holy to the Lord. Okay, I'm back. Um, okay, you shall also make a plate of pure gold and engrave on it like the engravings of the signet, in quotes, holy to the Lord. You shall fasten it on the front of the turban with a blue cord. It shall be on Aaron's forehead, and Aaron shall take away the guilt from the holy things which the sons of Israel dedicate, with regard to all their holy gifts. It shall always be on his forehead, so that they may be accepted before the Lord. You shall weave the tunic of checkered work of fine linen, and make a turban of fine linen. You shall make a sash, the work of an embroiderer. For Aaron's sons you shall make tunics and sashes and ornamental caps for glory and honor and beauty. You shall put the various articles of clothing on Aaron your brother and on his sons with him, and shall anoint them and ordain and sanctify them, so that they may serve me as priests. You shall make for them white linen undergarments to cover their bare flesh, reaching from the waist to the thighs. The various articles of clothing shall be on Aaron and on his sons when they enter the tent of meeting, or when they approach the altar of incense to minister in the holy place, so that they do not incur guilt and die. It shall be a statute forever to Aaron and his descendants after him. I'm down here in the footnotes. Okay. Okay, so B 28:30. Okay, so talking about in the breastpiece of judgment, you shall put the Urim or lights and the Thummim or perfections to be used for determining the God's will in a matter. And down here it says unspecified articles used like lots when the high priest asked God's counsel for Israel. Okay, let's see, 22 minutes. Okay, I think I'm going to read this last chapter for the day. Okay, consecration of the priests. This is what you shall do to consecrate Aaron and his sons, so that they may serve me as priests. Take 1 bull and 2 rams without blemish, and unleavened bread and unleavened cakes mixed with oil, and unleavened wafers spread with oil. You shall make them of fine wheat flour. You shall put them in 1 basket and present them in the basket along with the bull and the 2 rams. Then bring Aaron and his sons to the doorway of the tent of meeting, out where the basin is, and wash them with water. Then you shall take the garments and put on Aaron the tunic and the robe of the ephod and the breastpiece, and wrap him with the skillfully woven sash of the ephod, and you shall put the turban on his head, and put the holy crown on the turban. Then you shall take the anointing oil and pour it on his head and anoint him. You shall bring his sons and put tunics on them, and you shall wrap them with sashes, Aaron and his sons, and put the ornamental caps on them, and the priest's office shall be theirs by a perpetual statute. So you shall ordain Aaron and his sons. The sacrifices. Then you shall bring the bull before the tent of meeting, and Aaron and his sons shall lay their hands on the bull's head. Then you shall kill the bull before the Lord by the doorway of the tent of meeting, and you shall take some of the blood and the bull, and with your finger put it on the horns of the altar of the burnt offering, and you shall pour out the remainder of the blood at the base of the altar. You shall take all the fat that covers the intestines and the lobe of the liver, and the 2 kidneys, and the fat that is on them, and offer them up in smoke on the altar. But the meat of the bull, its hide, and the contents of its intestines you shall burn in the fire outside the camp. It is a sin offering. And you shall take one of the rams, and Aaron and his sons, and shall lay their hands on the head of the ram. Okay, then you shall kill the ram, and you shall take its blood and sprinkle it around the altar of the burnt offering. Then you shall cut the ram into pieces, and wash its intestines and legs, and place them with its pieces on its head. And you shall burn the whole ram on the altar. It is a burnt offering to the Lord. It is a sweet and soothing aroma, and an offering by the fire to the Lord. Then you shall take the other ram, and Aaron and his sons shall lay their hands on the head of the ram. Then you shall kill the ram, and take some of its blood, and put it on the tip of the right ears of Aaron and his sons, and on the thumb of their right hands, and on the big toes of their right feet, and sprinkle the rest of the blood around on the altar of the burnt offering. Then you shall take some of the blood that is on the altar, and some of the anointing oil, and sprinkle it on Aaron and his garments, and on his sons and their garments. Now Aaron and his garments, and his sons and their garments shall be consecrated, dedicated, made holy, declared sacred for God's purpose. You shall also take the fat of the ram, the fat tail, the fat that covers the intestines, and the lobe of the liver, the 2 kidneys, the fat that is on them, and the right thigh, for it is a ram of ordination, and 1 loaf of bread, and 1 loaf of oiled bread, and 1 wafer out of the basket of the unleavened bread that is before the Lord. And you shall put all these in the hands of Aaron and his sons, and wave them as a wave offering before the Lord. Then you shall take them from their hands, add them to the burnt offering, and burn them on the altar for sweet and soothing aroma before the Lord. It is an offering by the fire to the Lord. Then you shall take the breast of the ram and Aaron's ordination, and wave it as a wave offering before the Lord, and it shall be your Moses' portion. You shall consecrate the wave breast offering of the ram used in the ordination, and the wave thigh offering of the priest portion, since it is a contribution for Aaron and his sons. It shall be for Aaron and his sons as their due portion from the Israelites forever, for it is a heave offering. It shall be a heave offering to the Lord from the Israelites, from the sacrifices of their peace offerings. The holy garments of Aaron shall be for his sons after him, to be anointed and ordained in them. That son who is high priest in his place shall put them on each day for 7 days when he comes into the tent of meeting to minister in the holy place. Food for the priests. You shall take the ram of the ordination and boil its meat in a holy place. Aaron and his sons shall eat the meat of the ram and the bread in the basket at the doorway of the tent meeting. They shall eat those things by which atonement was made at their ordination and consecration. But a layman shall not eat them, because they are holy, that is, set apart to the worship of God. And if any of the meat of the ordination or the bread remains until morning, you shall burn it in the fire. It shall not be eaten, because it is holy. So you shall do to Aaron and his sons in accordance with all I have commanded. You. During 7 days you are to ordain them. You shall offer a bull every day as a sin offering for atonement. You shall cleanse the altar from sin when you make atonement for it, and you shall anoint it to consecrate it for God's sacred purpose. For 7 days you shall make atonement for the altar of the burnt offering and consecrate it. Then the altar shall be most holy. Whatever touches the altar must be holy, set apart for God's purpose. Set apart for God's service. Now this is what you shall offer on the altar. 2 one-year-old lambs shall be offered each day continuously. 1 lamb you shall offer in the morning, and the other lamb at twilight. And with the 1 lamb there shall be 1/10 of a measure of fine flour mixed with 1/4 of a hin of beaten olive oil, and 1/4 of a hin of wine for drink offering to be poured out. And the other lamb you shall offer at twilight, and do with it as with the grain offering of the morning, and with the drink offering for a sweet and soothing aroma to appease God, an offering by fire to the Lord. This will be a continual burnt offering throughout your generations at the doorway of the tent of meeting before the Lord, where I will meet you to speak to you there. There I will meet with the Israelites in the tent of meeting shall be sanctified by my glory, the Shekinah, God's dwelling presence. I will sanctify the tent of meeting and the altar of burnt offering. Also, I will sanctify Aaron and his sons to serve as priests to me. I will dwell among the sons of Israel and be their God. They shall know from personal experience and acknowledge that I am the Lord their God who brought them out of the land of Egypt so that I might dwell among them. I am the Lord their God. Okay, now I'm down in the footnotes. And it says here, by laying his hands on the head of the sacrifice, the offerer identified himself with it, and through its death. Okay, sorry, I'm back. So I'm down in the footnotes. By laying his hands on the head of the sacrifice, the offerer identified himself with it, and through its death, it became an atonement or covering for his sin. Because the sacrifice covered his sin, it placed the offerer in right relationship with God. It placed the offerer in right relationship with God. Just as later under the new covenant, the perfection and sacrifice of the Christ will cover, atone for the imperfection and sin of those who identify with him and accepted him as Savior. Okay, it's beautiful symmetry. Okay, now it talks, let's see, Exodus 29:24. Okay, 24. Okay, and you shall put all these in the hands of Aaron and his sons and wave them as a wave offering before the Lord. Okay, so let's see. Okay, so the wave, so down here in the footnotes, the wave, undulation, wave-like offering, and the heave, lifted up, raised offering, were named after their manner of presentation. These were either voluntary gifts or contributions required for a specific religious purpose, such as the atonement offering. It was understood that God received these offerings and then designated them for a religious purpose, such as the support of the priests and their families, or the preparation and maintenance of the tabernacle. Okay? Okay, let's see, 29:43. Okay, there I will meet with the Israelites, and the tent of meeting shall be sanctified by my glory. Okay, the Shekinah, God's dwelling presence. Okay, let's see, E. Oh no, okay. Only God can sanctify or set apart something for his divine purpose. Man can consecrate or dedicate something as sacred that is declared separated from secular use. Okay. So only God is saying only God can sanctify, but man can consecrate or dedicate. Because only God can sanctify, which is set apart something for his divine purpose. But man can consecrate or dedicate something as sacred that is declared it is separated for secular use, from secular use. Okay. So people sanctify, and God consecrates or dedicates, and man consecrates or dedicates. Okay, so let's see. And that was, and then it says Shekinah. The next sentence says Shekinah. This Hebrew word is not found in the Bible, but was used by the rabbis to describe the presence of God. Its basic meaning is royal residence. Among other things, the rabbi said that the Shekinah is present when 10 people pray together or where 3 people are sitting as court judges. Wow. That's interesting because Jesus says, where 2 or 3 are gathered in my name, I'm there. I believe that's I'm quoting it right, where two or three people are gathered in my name, I'm there. So when we go to, that's why one of the reasons I believe the Bible says, do not forsake the assembling of yourselves, which basically means go to church. Don't just stay home and just sit and watch TV church, but go to church. Because Jesus says, if just 2 or 3 people are there, are gathered in my name, I'm there. So don't be a loner. Don't be a loner in Christ and think that that's good enough, because it's not good enough. And nor is it healthy, right? We know that. It's not healthy to be alone all the time. Okay, so that was, Lord, where are we? That was chapters 26 through 29. Okay, and let's see. Okay, and so tomorrow we'll continue this with the altar of incense, ransom money, bronze basin, anointing oil, incense. Okay, so more stuff about the this place of worship. Okay, so anyhow, so that was interesting. um God bless you. Thank you so much for watching my videos. Please like and subscribe and follow and all that. And I look forward to you being in my Bible study tomorrow. God bless you.